really doing this? Okay. Whew. Wow. Yeah, I guess I'm doing this. Am I going to do the thumbnail with the face in it too? I don't know. I mean, like, that's like a commitment. That's a commitment. If I'm doing the face in the video and then I'm putting the face on the, what am I, Mr. Beast? Anyway. Hi, welcome to this video. It's weird. I know. Listen, I know it's weird. I've been posting now for a year and I just thought it was time to like say hello. You know, the channel grows a little bit every day. Actually really humbling, and I'm very grateful. And I so partially want to use this video to say thank you, because it is growing a little bit every day. And so it's very exciting. It's always fun to see the comments, you know, see the support. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Today, I wanted to go through my rack. I think I put together a really good system. It feels very versatile to me. It feels like when I think of synthesizer, music, and sound exploration, I think I put all the pieces together that feel really good to me. And that's the beauty of modular, right? Because everyone's system can be their own. You know, when I look around the interwebs and I see what a lot of people are doing, I think I put together a system that actually like covers a lot of bases. I just wanted to take a few minutes, walk you through the case, let you know sort of why I chose certain modules. And so let's get into it. When I first started getting modular, I had the semi-modular stuff. And then when I started getting like full Eurorack stuff, I started with StarLab, and I had it in this case, this little case. This was my starting case. My priority is kind of more driven towards pretty sounds, ambient sounds, beat driven music. So yeah, that's sort of how I constructed this case. So I have my oscillators here. Obviously, these are all oscillators as well. I have my quick access here of sequencers, filters. I have this auxiliary case here for overflow. So I have a fair amount of plumbing here. I have a decent output area. And then the other thing is my MIDI. I use this to connect with my Electron model cycles. This is a 2 Mantis case setup. And then I also have the unpowered 60 HP Moog case. This is not one of these. This is an extra unpowered case. I found this. This is a cat's paw. And if you go gentle, it makes a meow, but if you go hard, it makes a growl. So maybe I'll use this to point at different modules. We'll see. Well, so let's start over here. This is the auxiliary case. I actually used this case recently at an art show for a buddy of mine. And I actually had the qubit stuff in there. I had Rample in there. I had Varigate. Okay, this isn't going to work. And I did a little live set. Let's start with the auxiliary case. Over here, I have an ARP. This is a 2 HP ARP. I have a 2 HP clock. I have a dual VCA from a company that escapes me at the moment. This is actually one of the coolest 2 HP things that I have. It's not the company 2 HP, but the space. This dual VCA is actually really, really good. It has LEDs that show you the signal strength. Obviously, mass. Mass is recent for me. This is one of my newest modules. I really resisted getting mass just because everyone has it. Is it really that good? Where, like, could I get other modules, maybe smaller modules that do something similar? Once I got this case set up, I realized I was a little lacking in modulation. When I set up the case, I originally had Pip Slope and offset and a 10U-vert times 2 from ALM to kind of do this duty. At the end of the day, this just wasn't enough. This has 2 attenuverters, but this is only 1 channel for Pip Slope. So it just, that obviously wasn't enough. Moving on, we have, this is also a new module. This is a Ghost by Endorphins, and it's a thing with Andrew Wong. Who isn't a fan of Andrew Wong? Guy's awesome. Does cool stuff. I was like, oh, cool. This guy's making a module. It's awesome. I was going to pre-order it. I just trust the guy's instincts. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pre-order it. It is a very cool module. I really, I do like it. So that's the auxiliary case. This is powered by the TipTop Audio Zeus. Moving on, let's start down here. We'll move across the first row, and then we'll just go up and up and up. So down here, starting on the left, is Metropolix for the sequencer. This is my main melody sequencer. So this is if you don't know Metropolix, it has 2 channels of pitch and gate output, and then it has a 3rd channel of modulation that you can do. This I really enjoyed using it. And when I first got it, it was a little overwhelming, and I was like, wow, this thing actually requires a fair amount of planning when you use it. I have a Electron model cycles, and I love the Electron sequencer, and I actually integrate that with the system over here. We'll get into that. In calculating the pulse counts, and then like the way this is set up, it's actually not like, most sequencers are like 8-step, 16-step, 32-step. This is actually like kind of unlimited. I mean, I think it does have an upper limit, but you can put these pulse counts to whatever you want, and it will just extend the sequence. So you have to kind of do a little bit of planning, especially if you are working with an 8-step loop or a 16-step loop. You wouldn't want this to go beyond that if you're kind of doing more straightforward stuff. So a little bit of math and thinking about your steps here, and that took a little bit of getting used to. But now that I'm used to that, I find it very enjoyable to use. I love the 2 extra control knobs. These are assignable. So right now I use these for pulse length and then ratchet. So I can turn the ratchet up and down with that. Love that. Qubit. I have the Aurora and the Data Bender right next to each other. I also have Surface up here. I love the Qubit stuff. It sounds so good. It just hits those buttons for me. It just sounds so good. Data Bender is so much fun to use. It is a lot of sound mangling, but it's musical. That's the thing about Data Bender, is that it's not just like shredding for the sake of shredding. It is actually quite musical, very playable. I just love it. It just sounds so good. When it corrupts and distorts, it sounds good. Aurora is intense. It is an intense reverb. It definitely has taken me some getting used to. I love the sound of it, but it can go kind of crazy pretty quickly. So you do have to show a lot of restraint with Aurora, I think. Otherwise, it just goes into like kind of washed out chaos, and which some people are probably looking for that. Moving on. So Pip Slope. So first off, this first row obviously is kind of the stuff I like to fiddle with the most. So I have the sequencer. I have 2 sequencers here. I have a little bit of modulation. I have 2 filters. And then I have my start and stop, my master clock here. And so this is like quick access stuff closest to me that I really kind of need to mess with. I'm big into playing with the filters. So having these up front is good. Like I said earlier, I was using Pip Slope to kind of give me some maths features features. And so having this kind of close up, and but I do use this sort of in tandem with OA2 or OAX2. So, you know, having them kind of close by. Also, like, this is sort of laid out so that everything that I intend to pair it with pairs sort of in close proximity. So this, you know, I was using as a modulation source for my filters. That's why these are close to each other. I also use this to attenuate oct. And so that's not a big stretch here. So having that there and then kind of coming into here and then coming into here, given that I have, you know, I have to work around all these Moogs. So like I have to, you know, a lot of planning went into where these are positioned. I mainly use so then I have, sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. I have the Filter 8 by Joranalogue, and I love this filter. It is nasty when it wants to be, but it's also just so very refined. All the control you have here is really nice, really nice. It's a pretty module too. When these are all lit up, my God. Yeah. Well, I just love looking at it. So, really great filter. So I have this, Malekko Varigate 4+. This I got, the thought really was that I was going to use this with Rample. Because this sequencer mainly addresses melody. This was going to be the sequencer I use to run drums with. And I was going to run drums out of Rample. The reason these are on top of each other is because all the outputs are on the top and these are on the bottom. So I just sort of put short cables from this one to this one. I actually use these pink cables. That's why this is actually where it is in relation to Rample. This has taken me the most to wrap my head around, I think, out of most of these modules here. Because the thing about this module is that it has 4 channels and it only has 1 row of sliders. And so obviously when you're working on track 1, you dial it in, you move to track 2. It's all different. Everything's different. And so like you're moving, the sliders are constantly evolving and changing. And I think that's the charm of this, honestly. I think that's the intent. And I think that it's designed to keep you moving. It's designed to make you evolve your use of it. And so that limitation of having just the 1 row of sliders forces you to just constantly keep it moving. And so to that, I think it's actually quite successful, and I enjoy using it for that reason. It's just one of those things that sometimes when you want something a little more straightforward, it can be a little like, oh, where was that setting? Like, and you kind of don't remember what you had. And so it's luckily you can save presets here and kind of use those as jumping off points. And then you can kind of you can move it from there. Next up, I'm going to keep these two kind of clumped together because obviously this is Pamela's new workout as my master clock, but I also have it next to MIDI. This is sort of my clock area. I also have this is sort of my start stop button for everything. Typical use for this. I part of me when doing this was I wanted to have that start stop button on this outer edge because of where it's placed, because I've had it where it's been on this side before. And when you have like wires and stuff all over it, just to like get your finger in between the wires is annoying. So just like I like having it off to the side. Row 2, Mother-32. Obviously part of the 3-tier sound studio. Mother-32 is the one I love the sound of it. It's of the 3, the one I use the least. Doesn't mean I like it the least, but it's this sequencer. I never really like these sequencers that have these sort of cryptic menu dives that you can't really see what's happening. I know that some people really thrive with that, but for me, it's just, I can never remember the settings and I always need the manual for using the sequencer. So now I've been using it a little more with the Metropolix and sending out the two different wave forms. And that's been actually a lot of fun. Moving on, I have a small 4 HP ADSR. I love this thing. This is super cool for how, first off, for value, for price. This is I think it was like, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I remember it being very affordable, and in the footprint it's in, it works really, really well. This is Synthro-Tech. I have a Afterlater Audio Mult, and actually really great mult. I love the signal indicators, so that I like a lot. My attenuator, my offset attenuator ×2. Got 2 channels of attenuation. Great. Rample. It's a sampler. I'm using it with the Varigate. I have my model cycles off to the side here. You can't see it. It's off camera over on this direction. I primarily, when I do something kind of drum heavy, I'm going to be pulling out the model cycles most of the time, but I wanted to have quick access to drums in this case without firing up an external unit. So Rample, being a sampler, you have so many options with sounds, and the library it comes with is great. The way it works is just super intuitive, with the outs and the gates and these knobs up here. They have these, it has a pitch, a bit, a filter, which I use all the time. In the freeze. It just works really, really well. I haven't done a lot of sample chopping on it, or I've done a little bit, but not a lot. And that's worked well. This is definitely a module where I keep the manual handy because I do forget certain things. Recently, I was able to, this has a mix out with a volume knob, which is awesome. That is super handy because when you run, sometimes, at least in this last thing I did, I ran out of mixer space. And so I was able to, and all I was running was a hi-hat. So I was able to just use this as a volume, as a volume for the main mix out. Let's see. Moving on. I'm going to use the cat paw maybe. So over here is a Doepfer stereo mixer, and that is for Rample as well. I got this tip from Jeremy Red Means Recording, where he takes each one of these channels and puts them into this, and then that way you can pan the channels. And so that was a good idea. So you also get levels for each channel, and then you can pan each channel. And so that was really cool. I was like, good idea. Moving on, this is sort of my mixer area. This is Befaco. I have the Stmix or stereo mix. Super straightforward. Love it. Going into the DivKid stereo strip. So I use stereo strip as basically my master volume. This big knob over here, that just works for me. I like how that works. There's a mute switch here that I really like using a lot. Also, I often will run Oct into the panning CV input because it has an attenuator for that in here. So I can use Oct, put that down here, and then I get a nice little stereo action with this thing. It's cool. And also this little EQ here, holy smokes, is this thing powerful. So this is sort of my end chain mixer area. 4 channels. This also has the auxiliary in. If you use a VCA with that, then you have 5 channels. So pretty cool. Works well. So far, I'm not super limited with that. It seems to be working for me. There's been definitely a couple patches where I'm like, I ran out. But again, something like the Rample with its volume knob here really helps. So again, I tried to build the system with like some versatility in mind. So like features like that volume knob are kind of the types of things I'm looking for. And so anyway, so that's row number 2. Row number 3, we'll go a little faster, less modules. DFAM. Love DFAM. This I use a lot mainly as a kick, although I know a lot of people use it as hats too. They love the hats on it. I just think it's super fun. A lot of crazy sounds can come out of it. It can get kind of chaotic very quickly if you're not careful, but it's a lot of fun. It's probably my second favorite. Subharmonicon being my most favorite one. But these two are competing. I actually have a lot of fun with DFAM, and it's been kind of flipping for me. And I am really favoring DFAM lately. I hate the name. I hate this whole drummer from another mother. I don't know. I've been thinking about making a video about like the worst synth names, like with peace and love. There are definitely like some bad synth names out there, and drummer from another mother is kind of one of them, but I do love this thing. It sounds great. And so that's, kick drum all day, but also just like rhythmic experimentation. And also I like using this as sort of like sort of rhythmic accents for something like Rample or my model cycles. So I'll do the more straight drums with model cycles or Rample. And then this will just sort of be the sizzle, the razzle dazzle in between rhythmic stuff. This is really nice for that. This mixer here is just a mini Doepfer mixer. And this is mono because this is designed. I got this for these 3 modules. So I will take the VCA out from all of these and put them into this. And then I can control each one right here. This would go out to one of those channels there. Let's see. What do we got? Quad VCA. Yeah, this is like my main VCA. I'm not in love with it. I don't like that you don't have signal visual with an LED like my like this mini one here. But it does its job. It was affordable and it just sort of gets the job done. And that's kind of what I need. I also, with this whole little cluster of inputs and outputs, it creates this like dense little spot of cables that I'm just not super into. So that might change at some point, but then I keep bringing the cat paw in and out, and sorry, I don't know. The way my microphone is set up, it's a little easier with the cat paw. So sorry. So over here is Starlab, beautiful reverb. This actually was the first module I got, and I've been thinking about doing a video of why I got Starlab, because the reason the cat paw, the reason I got, well, Starlab first off was gifted to me from my fiance, but I had Night Sky for guitar, and I ended up returning it because Night Sky is amazing on guitar. That's where Starlab comes in. Starlab has all the extensibility of modular. And so you're able to just do a lot more with it in the context of synths. Like I said, Night Sky, great for guitar. Starlab for synths all day long. Oct. Oct and Maths, like everyone has one of those, right? And so, yeah, it's just like kind of my main LFO. And then you pair it with an attenuator or attenuverter, and super powerful. And again, I like that they spread the outputs vertically. This is another one of these modules where you get a lot of cable sort of consolidation, but it's a little better going vertically. So that's it, but everyone has it. Everyone loves it. It's beautiful. DivKid knocked this one out of the park. So yeah, that's Oct. I mean, everyone has it. Everyone loves it. Subharmonicon is what got me into all of this. I actually bought this first and then got the DFAM Mother-32 Sound Studio second. So I had this already. And it just, when I saw a video with Red Means Recording and Andrew Wong. Their videos on these were just like so inspiring. And I was like, wow, this thing is amazing. So I got it. Some people struggle with Subharmonicon. For me, it makes a lot of sense. I love it. And, you know, it does so much, but it's also just sort of like a melody powerhouse. I love it so much. Surface, again, qubit stuff, loving the qubit stuff. Surface is kind of me avoiding getting a rings, but also I love the Surface. I just think the model emulation that it's doing is just very, very pretty. The way it has polyphony with the delay, the decay knob here is really, really nice. I don't know. It sounds really, really nice. I love it. Beads. Is it weird to put Surface into Beads if in the past it was weird to put rings into clouds? I don't know. But anyway, Beads, I know some people love it. Some people hate it. I love it. It's a beautiful reverb, but also just like when you want to be granular, it's crazy and awesome. And I love it for that. But I also just love using it as like a reverb and delay. It does both, I think, really, really well. Chainsaw is a 16 oscillator saw, like ultra saw or super saw. Really cool. I love it. I use it almost in everything. Sounds great with the WMD carbon filter. Also, oh my God, this into Starlab, the harmonic content in there is, oh my God, so good. Then finally is the 4MS Ensemble Oscillator. And this one is the one I really do kind of struggle the most with. Everything I saw for sound demos really kind of got me going with it, but I'm struggling to fit it into the vibe of everything else I'm doing. It's very organy sounding, except when you crank the FM, and then it's just nasty. And I love actually using it for bass for that reason. It's just a very dirty, growly bass, and it requires a lot of modulation to kind of get all this moving. So now that I've gotten maths, I've been enjoying kind of plugging maths into it and kind of moving things around that way. But still, jury's out for me. I do like it in certain contexts, but this is something that might get swapped out for something else at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so it's nighttime. We had a time jump. I really appreciate you watching this video. I know it was a long one. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll be making some more videos. My main thing that I want to do with this channel is mainly post videos of jams, of DAW-less Eurorack jams, synthesizer jams, and eventually maybe do some live streaming with patching from scratch or something along those lines. So I just appreciate your time. I appreciate that you stopped by, and if you made it to the end, thank you again. Please, if you've made it to the end and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I really would appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.